So we're catching up to live time here. We've got a hideout game and still playing with the new civilizations here. TaToH in the blue playing as the Wu. I could be wrong, but I think TaToH's going to try and play with one of the unique units from the barracks for the Wu here and play with the Jian Swordsman. Looks like we're around normal speed now. But basically that unit, it feels like it's very strong in certain moments. So like any infantry can be insanely strong if you don't have the answer to it right away. But the weakness is that it's slow and they're, you know, outpaced by other things. So I think early Castle Age, Jian Swordsmen are going to be insane. And the way that unit works, there's a barracks now from TaToH, so he might actually go for infantry in general here. But the way that unit works, and I'm going to explain this with numbers that don't actually apply because I don't have it memorized yet, but it's just to make it click for you, okay? The weaker the unit gets, the more attack it has. The stronger the unit is, the less attack it has. So, like, for example, let's say it has 50 HP, 10 attack. When it takes damage and goes down to 40 HP, it might go up to, like, 11 or 12 attack. Is that making sense? This changes on the fly. This changes as the fight is happening. So, there's a threshold, but the more HP it has, the less attack it has. And then the weaker it's the more damage it takes, the more damage it's doing. Now, if that doesn't make sense for you, we'll just have to see if we see it. Now, I could have sworn that one of the civilizations had, like, a regenerating bonus for their infantry, but we haven't talked about that yet. It might be the Wu. Sorry, there's the Wu, there's the Shu, and there's the Wei. It's all running together for me. This is about to be Man-at-Arms from TaToH, which makes me think that this could be the Civ. And Dusty, oh, Dusty, you're such a beast, dude. You're such a beast. Dusty can be trusted. He says that's the Wu. Yeah, so the infantry regenerates for the Wu, which, from some conversations I've had with people, granted, they were like 1,400 elo, they said is very strong. They were doing some testing. So TaToH's going all in here. DauT, he didn't really catch much of a glimpse of this. And DauT is planning a fast castle, which should be very doable with the Jurchens because there's no decay on your hunt and your livestock. But this is going to be a whole lot of pressure that he's going to have to react to. He's actually gotten very fortunate that he could wall to his TC on both sides and not miss his berries or his gold. But yeah, DauT, you better leave. Man-at-Arm upgrades on the way. Yeah, thank you, Ashuf. That seems to be what I remember. So it's 10 HP per minute healing in Feudal, then 20 per minute in Castle, and 30 per minute in Imp. Chat, what do you think about, like, the regenerating type text? Because in this case, you're not even researching something for it. That's a jump, dude. Like, that's definitely... that's a jump for any, you know, people who walked uphill both ways to get HP on their infantry over the past 20 years. That's a big jump. Speaking of a big jump, new patch as well. So Arson's cheap. TaToH goes for Arson immediately. That's not specific to the Wu, but he wants to break through. He wants to break through with the Wu. What will DauT do? Well, he's just repairing anyways. So Arson hasn't actually had that big of an effect. It is a lot of constant repairs, though, for DauT. And yeah, like, you're going to look at other things, and your Palisade's just going to disappear, so he's adding more walls. T90 in this case, Man-at-Arms will be immortal versus Skirms and Feudal, meaning it will be a big balance issue, in my opinion. Yeah, against the Skirm defense style, it could be really strong. I agree. Yeah, I mean, I think the regenerating makes them one of the best Man-at-Arms civs on their own. Just for that very reason. DauT clicks up here. It's actually so nice, though, that he has a wall on the other side of that market, because you do not want to lose your market when you go fast castle in these scenarios. This is a good tower from DauT. This is a lot of pressure from TaToH, and DauT needs to protect this area and keep that market up. DauT will drop a barracks now. What could DauT's plan be here? I feel like Cav Archers could be an interesting play. Obviously at the limit in terms of resources right now. And there you can see the regenerating. And you can see the Man-at-Arm gaining more HP. All right, so I'll answer my own question on the regenerating. Like again, I'm trying not to sound like an old man here. I like strategic techs. I like having to invest to get something, right? And like just auto regenerating as a bonus isn't my favorite. Yeah, it's just not my favorite bonus. Of all the bonuses out there, I don't love it. I'm not a big fan. Like, if it was locked behind a tech, which other civs have for regenerating, for example, then it's a bit of a different conversation. It's also interesting how they like nerfed the Jurchen regen to the like basically as close to little as possible in Feudal Age. Still keeping it for whatever reason. And now they introduced this civ with pretty high regen, so. Dude, Arson is nuts. I do love Arson in Feudal Age. I think that's a really good change. The fact that Man-at-Arms can actually apply this much pressure is crazy. And DauT going for Siege just to push this back, and he's going to go for a rocket card here. It doesn't look pretty for DauT, but TaToH isn't anywhere close to Castle Age. He does have a very smooth eco, which will be good long term. But DauT hasn't taken damage. TaToH will break out this way. Rocket Cart should melt this tower. Rocket Carts take down towers super quickly before more upgrades come in. And TaToH, a lot of damage, a lot of time for us to talk about the regen and all that. But he didn't have any eco upgrades. So there we go. Lane says T90's regen is specifically problematic with cavalry because you can always run away. Yeah. Obviously. Like, it's regen is less of a problem with slower units. I agree with that. But I like pros and cons, right? Like, oh, you do this because of that, and you know, bonuses where you just like get something just because. And there's a lot of that in AoE2, whether it's new or old. Not always as big of a fan of those bonuses. This is going to be a full clear here from DauT. Well played. Super well played here. This is a lot of This is a lot of aggression here. TaToH also added scouts, though, and killed 2 rocket carts, which I don't think DauT noticed. I know I didn't notice. I was looking over here. TaToH still keeping this tower up. Still keeping his eco safe. And there's a lot of map control for TaToH, and those scouts are going to add value throughout the rest of the game, as he'll probably want to focus on where the relics are. By the way, he does have 3 very close to his base as well, so really good for him. Kind of tough for DauT to get to some of these relics. Someone says, instead of these new fancy things, I'm disappointed that after 2 decades, we still have no imp upgrades for petards. We're talking... we're talking about all these different things today, and someone just wants an imp upgrade for petards. Different priorities. The TaToH outposting all around DauT's base. And also sees this. One thing I will say about petards, which I'd never really thought about until a Lowy the Legends game a couple months ago. I think they should do more damage versus land units. I saw, guys, so for those who know, petards do like nothing versus land units, right? But they're very good against buildings. And it was a Lowy the Legends game, and this guy had petards in like 2 nights, and the opponent had a massive army, and he was scared to engage because he looked at the big buff dude with explosives and said, that takes out my buildings, that's going to kill my army. So it was actually super funny because he would have won the fight easily, but the 2 or 3 petards in the group made him think, you know, that it would never work. And ever since then, I've been like, it would kind of make sense. Petards are so slow. It would kind of make sense for them to do a little bit of damage. Even if it was like 3 or 4 times the amount of damage to units, it wouldn't be OP because the unit's super slow and you got to produce them out of a castle. An imp upgrade will fix that. I'm sorry, but no one's going fast imp petard, bro. You just change the base stats to petard. You don't. No one's gonna get an imp tech for petards. It's just not gonna happen. I'm sorry. I kind of want to. I want that video now. Fast imp petards. Speak for yourself. Okay, true. I shouldn't assume. DauT just killed his own units. Rocket carts OP confirmed. TaToH's done really well here. DauT's done well. DauT's pushed this back. He's taken down the towers. He will find one of these villagers. This is TaToH. So TaToH... Oh, I got so confused. That's a Lancer. I thought it was the new Cav unit. And I was like, did I not realize they had range the whole day? I thought that was the Guang. I want to see DauT build a gate here. Rocket carts are so good against buildings in early Castle Age. My goodness. That stable's just gone. TaToH has to build 2 new stables back here. Can DauT see these walls at all? No way! That's so sick, dude! That's so sick! This is why I think Man-at-Arm Tower is a really nice opening on Hideout. It is situational, but it just gives you some initiative. The wild thing is TaToH has the stables here, and he really needs the stables at home. So, oh, wow. Okay, TaToH with the split. Oh, DauT. DauT just got worked. DauT just got worked. TaToH had the scouts at home. He takes 1. He takes 2 rocket carts, and he can wall the rest of this out. That was so well played. If that's Siege and Step Lancers, DauT is definitely breaking through. Fancy moves. And then DauT didn't wall this. DauT, you got to re-wall, my friend. And TaToH's going to be a pain here. That villager just fighting off a wolf because she's a beast. New feature, by the way. I can name individual units in my capture age now. I think she's worthy of it. Next resub or new sub gets to decide the name. That's right. We get the feature. We got to pay for it now. We just got to do that another 1,000 times and pay for the feature. Come on. Surely there's somebody. Oh God. Quick walls. Quick walls. Quick walls. No! TaToH in trouble. The Lancers are going to lance. And that hurts TaToH. Again, his production's over here. That's the problem. Here he is with the Guang Cavalry now. Lancers are still through. Quick walls need to happen. Star Wars has gifted somebody a sub? Alright, I guess you've gifted them the right to name that villager. TaToH really needed a conversion there. He gets the conversion. Oh, shoot. Now somebody resubs after them. So now they feel scammed. Okay, we'll see what happens. So guys, there's a lot going on. We haven't seen a boomy type of game. This has been non-stop aggression from the jump. Now, the Lancers have their range, but they don't have the other stats that the Guang Cavalry do. These things kind of have like a noise. I don't know how to describe it. It definitely wasn't what I just did, but when they're swinging their sword there, look at them swing that thing. DauT's in trouble. The Lancers are still here. They're kind of weak. DauT needs 1 or 2 of his own units here, but he does not have the food income. TaToH's unit control is so good. Also, person who got the gifted sub, what are we naming her? She's still over there. I can multitask. I don't know if DauT can multitask to keep up with this, though. This is rough. TaToH converts. TaToH clears this up. TaToH now dropping the second TC. Name it after the person. Oh, we're naming it after the person that got the sub? Oh, I thought the person who got the sub got to choose. Well, DauT's not having a good time. TaToH's got crazy value from this army. Just crazy value. The idle time and the kills. And it feels like the TC's doing no damage to these right now. TaToH has 1 armor upgrade. They're only 80 HP. They do have 5 pierce armor, though, with 1 armor upgrade. No, they don't. I'm wrong. Sorry. I got the sides mixed. I'm actually stressing out watching DauT deal with this right now. This is painful to look at. And okay, TaToH deletes. Thank you, TaToH. We can name this villager now. Okay, we're naming this villager Arcaneer. All right, save. Control group. All right, you ever want to know how Ark's doing, just let me know, chat. Just let me know. I could always go to it now. I was expecting... Normally, people go with, like, Susan or Bob or something, you know? But yeah, there she is. We can keep track even if she goes back with the others. For now, she's living a life of solitude over here. Sky, hello. Says, hi from YouTube. My first time watching here live. And oh, it's live. It is live. Welcome. Dal might be dead. He just made a trade card? I think that was a misclick from DauT. But if you misclick a trade cart, you might as well try and use it. But yes, the stream is live. Now, something I didn't mention is that the Jurchen mounted units they attack 20% faster. So their Lancers are actually one of the best Lancers to make. DauT's not just making Lancers because Lancing is fun. But yeah, a lot of people actually misclick trade carts. It could be a bug. I see so many pros do it. I do it sometimes. Usually they cancel it. I do not know why that happens. But TaToH deletes the wall and says it's open. Now, TaToH knows what happened there. He knows that DauT isn't trolling him. That was just a misclick. And DauT's going to get to trade. So there we go. That villager's jamming out. He's got a real solid beat out of that boombox in the back seat. Okay, Lancer's really attacking quickly there, sniping the light cav. Trade's going to come home. But 42 villagers for DauT. He needs engagements. Yeah, he needs some damage. I think in this case, TaToH should maybe go into pikes or something. That would make sense. I really want to see the John Swordsman. But I don't think... It's not easy to go infantry against Lancers, because Lancers can get quite a few kills on them. DauT should rebuild another market, get more gold, if TaToH's allowing this. How's our villager doing? Oh, she's still building houses. But yeah, in situations where we name a vill or a unit, just because we're lame like that, or cool like that, I will always be able to find that unit now. Because of that Capture Age update. So again, thank you, Capture Age, for finally getting that. That's so sick. It's so fun. What am I looking at? We've got a trade cart. We've got Lancers. Thank you. Congrats, by the way, for the 17 months. Sorry you didn't get to name anything. Congrats. If you give me if you just give me a name and I see it here, I could name something else, I guess. I can name the trade cart for you. Does he pay for updates? Yes. I paid a decent amount for that. But it's pretty sick that they were able to add it for me. Lancer here. Still can't take out the TC. Trade cart survives that little attack. I think TaToH pulled back. He didn't want to kill the trade cart. Why are the monks not the new skins? Does the new Civ have new skins for the monks? Maybe they don't? Oh, wait a second. They do with the photo. Oh. Yeah, the photo down at the bottom is different. I guess that's a bug of some kind. Yeah, I didn't think about that. I don't know if it's a game bug or a Capture Age bug. I'd have to check. But there's been some bugs today with casting. DauT knows he's super dead if he doesn't kill, and here he goes to kill. But TaToH's got some of the cavalry raiding out here, forcing some quick walls from DauT, forcing some reactions. And this castle is... No, not the trade cart! No! This castle's huge. Like, this stops the all-in push that DauT is trying to go for. Lancers will clean this up, but when you're behind and you have to go back and clear up a raid, it's so annoying. These stables have done such good things for TaToH. Yeah, I have a monk mod that puts the little pointers over their head, but that never changed the graphics for the monks before this patch. So it's possible with the new patch that somehow changed something. I can look. See if I can change that in between games. It's a good guess that could be it. All right, fire archers. So it looks like some of the extra fire is there before any unique techs come in. I thought that was locked behind a unique tech or something. DauT down 2-1. Really wants to use these lancers. They attack faster. They should be good, right? And now the Red Cliff Tactics. How does that apply to the fire lancers? Is that more burn damage? Because there's burn damage on the... Yeah, I think that's the burn damage. That also applies to their demos and whatnot, right? The thing is, though, the fire lancer actually outrange the rocket cart when they use their attack against siege. So this would be a fun test for us. Again, they have a separate attack that can only be used for siege. But capture rage will always show the range is 11. I don't think it's 11 against regular units. What happens to arrows with chemistry? I guess they get more fire? I don't really know. Two castles for TaToH. Big push coming from DauT. Yeah, there's the normal range. Monks and rocket carts. If this was crossbow, you would not command as much control here in TaToH's position. You'd be terrified of these rocket carts. One of the fire archers gets converted. Okay, TaToH just getting that castle up. So the fire damage doesn't apply to the rocket carts? Because that went down to 3 HP and it didn't continue to burn. Or does it only apply to regular units? DauT is kind of running out of areas to push right now. There's a castle everywhere. TaToH is being extremely careful here. Okay. TaToH will have imp upgrade soon. Snipes another siege weapon. How's Susan doing? The villager's not named Susan. The villager's named Arcaneer. And oh god. DauT siege is gone. His lancers are going to be gone. And he taps out, calls the GG. I think he's known for a while here. He's probably out. Doesn't even GG when he sees TaToH hits him. He knows based on the score that TaToH is way ahead of him here. Yeah, I'll try and fix the monks. I actually didn't realize that this whole time. But if you're wondering what happened to her, she was right there. So there you go, Ark. Thanks to Star Wars, yeah, for gifting you the sub. But yeah, so we can do that now. Capture Rage will also have the ability to control group things. So I could like control group it like I'm in game to go back to different groups. But worked with them to be able to name things now, which is pretty cool. So TaToH up 3-1. It's a play all 7. We will have more games. And then I've set up another show match for after this as well. So games all day today, guys. YouTube, hopefully you enjoyed. I felt like this one wasn't as experimental of a game. So maybe not as exciting from like the learning standpoint, but let's face it, learning sucks, right? Ugh, thinking, using the brain. I guess the main thing was we talked about the infantry regeneration, which I think does play its role in other scenarios. Here, the Man-at-Arms didn't actually accomplish too much once they broke into DauT's base, because DauT did a good job clearing them up. So, GG.